The member from Parkdale High Park.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Transportation. 2 days ago, the government announced a 30-year deal with a private consortium to maintain the Eglinton Crosstown LRT. The value of the privatized maintenance deal is $3.8 billion, almost as much as the cost of building the line itself. Even though Infrastructure Ontario released several self-promoting press releases on Tuesday, it still refuses to release details that would explain exactly how much control over transit the government has handed over to the private sector for the next 3 decades. The private bidders have had this information for almost 2 years, Mr. Speaker. Why is the minister keeping it from the public?
Thank you. Minister of Transportation.
Thanks very much, Speaker. I thank the member from Parkdale High Park for the question. It always delights me to have the opportunity, Speaker, to talk about how transformational the Eglinton Crosstown project will be, Speaker. 19 kilometres of LRT, 25 stops connecting Weston all the way to Scarborough, here in the GTHA, Speaker. It's a fantastic project. And in fact, what the member opposite is referring to is just a couple of days ago, this government, through Infrastructure Ontario and Metrolinx, partnering with the successful project consortium for this landmark infrastructure project, a consortium known as Crosslink, Speaker, we announced publicly that at $9.1 billion for a 30-year contract to design, build, finance and maintain, that is a project, Speaker, that came in at $2 billion less than originally anticipated by this government, Speaker.
Answer.
Speaker, that speaks exactly to why it's so important for us to continue to leverage the innovation and creativity of the private sector.
Thank you.
And I look forward to having a chance to follow up.
Supplementary.
Mr. Speaker, we have asked the government for the full RFP document for the Eglinton Crosstown that was given to private bidders almost 2 years ago. The government won't release it. We asked for documents concerning the government's plans a few years ago to fully privatize the Eglinton Crosstown. All we got back, Mr. Speaker, was 2,500 blank pages. The private corporations controlling the Eglinton Crosstown will need to work with the TTC and the City of Toronto to ensure the new LRT interacts properly with local transit. We have no idea, Mr. Speaker, how this will even work. When will the minister finally release all the documents showing what control over transit he has given away to private interests?
Thank you. Minister of Transportation.
Well, thanks very much, Speaker. Again, I thank the member for the supplementary question. I find it curious, Speaker. You know, not that many months ago here in this legislature, this exact same member on this exact same topic stood in the House and asked me a question about the Eglinton Crosstown. And in her question that day, Speaker, she suggested that because there were only two bidders for this particular project, Speaker, that of course, inevitably, that the taxpayers would pay more because there wasn't enough competition. And in fact, Speaker, as I mentioned in my original answer, just earlier this week, we were able to go out and say that the Crosslinks organization or project team has now successfully, we've done the financial close, a 30-year contract to design, build, finance and maintain this, Speaker, at a cost that is $2 billion less than was originally anticipated, contrary to what that member and the NDP caucus seem to believe in their fictional world when it comes to not building infrastructure in their case, Speaker. Instead, we are getting the job done. Thanks very